I just updated this article on my website, my exact social media posting strategy. I literally give step-by-step instructions on the exact ways that I post on every social media platform, how I record my videos, how I post onto TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, Snapchat, all of them. Literally exactly what to do, how to rank on Google the next day for keywords using videos on these platforms. Exactly what I do, because this is an article that I originally put up many months ago, and I just spent a little bit updating it, making it completely current. It is one of the most valuable things that I have put out, and it takes 4 minutes to read. So I want to just start this episode by sharing that. It will be in the description for this podcast. You can also go to edwardsturm.com/articles/social-media-posting strategy to get it. You don't need to give an email address. You don't need to give a phone number. It's just there. You can go to my articles section and read it. My goal is to give as much value as I can because I think that will benefit me in many different ways, but also it's fun. I like having people appreciate my work, and this is one of my greatest works. Anyone can copy what I have learned from posting for 600 days in a row. And if you wanted to start posting videos yourself or using your videos to rank #1 on Google within 24 hours, as I have talked about on this show, you can literally read this. You don't have to post for 600 days in a row to learn this and be obsessed to learn this. You can just read this and copy my instructions and do it, and it's there. All right, on this episode of The Edward Show, I'm going to read a newsletter of mine from June 2nd this year, just a few weeks ago, about framing. The title of this newsletter, which I turned into an article, is Framing This Slight Shift Got 14,615% More Views. I've talked about framing a bit on this show. I think there's no such thing as a boring brand, but the marketers just haven't found the interesting angle. I really believe that any boring thing can be made interesting and engaging with the right angle. And that's what this newsletter, which I turned to an article, this is also on my site, edwardsturm.com/articles. That's what this article is about, and I'm going to read this. So this is from yours truly. It's from me. Wrote this on June 2nd in Europe, and now I'm reading it a few weeks later in Brooklyn, New York. And as I read this, I want you to know, if you haven't found success yet with a brand or an idea or marketing that you're doing, there's a good chance that you just haven't found the right angle. All right, here it goes. I genuinely believe anything can be engaging with better framing. If a piece of content doesn't perform well, it's likely not the subject matter, but instead the framing. Below, I'll share 2 videos of mine. Both video scripts are 95% the same. Video 1 was made last year. Video 2 was made in April. Video 2 was made at the end of the day when I hadn't made a daily video and I needed content. I had been meaning to simply repost video 1, which got 13,000 views when it was originally posted on July 27th, 2023. But when I watched it, I said I need to change the framing on this. So it was the end of the day. I hadn't posted one of my daily videos. I said, what am I going to post? I have a backlog of videos that did okay to well on TikTok that I weren't posting properly on Instagram Reels because I didn't know how to post, which I describe in the first article, my exact social media posting strategy. I didn't know how to post. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. And those videos on Instagram got no reach. And so I was originally just going to take this below video and just post it on Instagram, just copy it and repost it on Instagram, and then make something really short and simple for TikTok. And when I rewatched it, I said, I think I can just remake the intro of this and it will do a lot better. I think I can keep the script the same, the images the same, everything the same, just change the introduction, the hook, the beginning of the video, and the video will do a lot better. So video 1, the original video, got 13,000 views, and it was originally posted on July 27th, 2023. And so I changed the framing, the hook, the framing for the rest of the subject matter. I changed it so the original was crazy story from this guy who claims to have invented flaming hot Cheeto. And then the new hook, the new beginning, the new framing was this guy made up an epic lie about inventing the flaming hot Cheeto. His name is Richard Montañez, and he actually got away with it. So I changed the hook, and then I re-recorded the rest. I had a better camera since the original recording, and then I added some dramatic music, which I didn't do in the first one. The first one I used just, I think, normal lo-fi music, In the new one, I added more dramatic music, which also changed the framing. And this is about the guy who he made this crazy lie about how he invented flaming hot Cheetos. The lie is in lots of different well-known publications. There's a huge expose about it. It was confirmed by Frito-Lay's that it wasn't true. And it's a crazy story. But the first one, because my hook wasn't good, only got 13,000 views. So I changed the hook to this guy made up an epic lie about inventing the flaming hot Cheeto. His name is Richard Montañez, and he actually got away with it. Then I re-recorded it because I had a better camera, but 95% of the rest of the lines were the same. The conclusion was the same. The images were mostly the same and in the same order. And the work to remake this was minimal because I didn't have to find new images. I just was able to use the decisions that I made a year before that. And I kept the images in the same order. So the work to remake this, super minimal. So now if you stick with me, I'm going to play video 1 and then I'm going to play the better video. Now, keep in mind when you watch this, the original video got 15,000 views, almost. And the new video, video 2, got almost 4 million views. Here are the videos. This is video 1, the original. Crazy story from this guy who claims to have invented the flaming hot Cheeto. He made this story up that the CEO of Frito-Lay's sent out a message to everybody saying behave like you're an owner. And this guy was a lowly janitor at the time, but he took the CEO's message to heart. He noticed that Frito-Lay's didn't have any spicy products and came up with a recipe himself. Then with a lot of hustle and a lot of grit, he pitched the CEO and the management team. They liked it, they put it into production, and he claims that he invented the flaming hot Cheeto. This story is so inspiring that the guy gets paid $50,000 per appearance to tell the story. Walmart, Target, and Harvard have paid him to consult and speak. Penguin Random House gave him a book deal. His story was turned into a movie on Disney Plus and Hulu. And his story is completely made up. He started claiming credit for the flaming hot Cheeto 20 years after it was invented. And most of the people who worked on it were retired by then. And this guy made a ton of money from this lie. And here is the next video, the improved one. This guy made up an epic lie about inventing the flaming hot Cheeto. His name is Richard Montañez, and he actually got away with it. He made a story up that the CEO of Frito-Lay's sent out a message to everybody saying, behave like you're an owner. This guy was a lowly janitor at the time, but he took the CEO's message to heart. He noticed that Frito-Lay's didn't have any spicy products and came up with a recipe himself. Then with a lot of hustle and a lot of grit, he pitched the CEO and the management team. They liked it, they put it into production, and he claims to have invented the flaming hot Cheeto. This story is so inspiring that the guy gets paid $50,000 per appearance to tell it. Walmart, Target, and Harvard have paid him to speak. Penguin Random House gave him a book deal. His story was even turned into a movie on Disney Plus and Hulu. But here's what no one realized. The story is a complete lie. He started claiming credit for the flaming hot Cheeto 20 years after it was invented. Most of the people who worked on it were retired by then. And this guy made a ton of money from this lie. All right, so those are the two videos. How much of a difference did framing make? Video 1, like I said, the original, it has 13,000 views on TikTok and under 1,500 views on Instagram Reels. The new video, the updated video, video 2, 1.9 million views on TikTok. Actually, I think now it's around 2.5 million. I think it passed 1 million on Instagram Reels now. So around 3.5 to 4 million views. Whereas the original got 15,000 views, not even. This new one got almost 4 million views. The new introduction and the new music set a different frame. It set a more interesting frame. It was a frame that compelled people to watch the whole thing and share it. And this applies to any piece of content for any marketing channel. If it's not framed in a good way, people are not going to care. Anything, any ad, any piece of content can do well with the right framing. Even with search engine optimization, your brand might not be doing well, but you might look at competitor keyword data and find that your brand or product has a more popular use case than you thought of yourself. And this actually happened to me with one of my products. We weren't getting that many users. I looked at what competitors were ranking for, found all these new use cases, made SEO landing pages for these use cases, brought us so much qualified traffic who used our product immediately, many of whom are paying for the product now and continue to do so from this SEO funnel that I set up. You might build something and then several months later look at competitors because now you have a more informed idea of the space and you see what competitors are ranking for on Google. And then you're like, oh my gosh, my brand could be used in all of these different ways. But that's framing. So the product could be framed differently, just like the video, and then it's more in demand. So wrapping up, this is the end of the article now. Just a reminder that a failed piece of content or a brand with not that much traction might not be the subject matter, might not be the brand. It might only be the framing and will only require a small amount of work to fix. This is episode 354 of my daily digital marketing podcast, daily growth hacking, growth marketing podcast. I do this thing every day, 7 days a week, and it is a Sunday, 8:51 p.m. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope it was informative. It's all about the framing. I really believe anything can be made engaging and interesting, anything with the right framing. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye now.